Yo, ladies and gents, Booma here, and welcome back to replay analysis for every rank. If you guys are new to this series, this is going to be how a top 64 RLCS player would analytically break down and optimize replays for other ranks. Today's episode is going to be an analysis for the Grand Champ 3 rank, but before we get into that, I just want to remind you guys that I am a streamer over on Twitch. If you guys want to talk to me or ask me questions in real time, or even see me play different games, come stop on over for the vibes. I'm also a coach for Rocket League. If you guys are interested in getting coaching from me, join the Discord and check out the coaching section there. The links will be in the description below. But without further ado, let's get right into this. Alright, so today's replay is going to be from the player named Icy. This lobby looks very interesting. This is supposed to be GC3, but it looks like they're queued with AJ. As you guys know, professional player in North America. I recognize Nightbear G and Sauce. They're also high-level players. Usually in the SSL range and higher up. So we're going to see how Icy hangs in a high-level lobby. For those of you that have not seen me do coaching or coaching analysis, I typically do one full watch-through of the replay just to get a gist of what we're working with here. I like to pay attention to if the player has any bad habits and stuff like that. Anything that is consistently getting them scored on or mistakes that they're making, and then we'll go back, we'll break down why each goal is being conceded or scored, and then we're gonna try to optimize the gameplay for the player. A lot of spacing here, just fine. Letting AJ get back, boost, very good double demo, opens up a lot of space for AJ. And when you have a professional player on your team, you definitely want to enable them to use their mechanics. Good save from Sauce there. Looks like AJ wants Icy to chow here. Icy's just a little awkward, making himself awkward. It's a good, I'm not sure if how intentional that pre-flip bump was, but it was a good bump on Nightbear there. He's just getting a demo. Well done getting the ball off of him. Now AJ gets a free ball and boost. I wish you would take your time here. Nice. Much better gameplay right here. The 50. It's a very interesting card design that AJ is using. Icy, I'm just curious how you're queued with AJ. Are you guys like friends? Is this something that AJ does on stream, like queuing with viewers or something? If you wanna answer down in the comments below, it'd be great. I'm sure everyone else will be wondering as well. I've only got to queue with pros a few times in my career, so I'm not at that level yet, but hopefully one day. Very good beat. Might just be in. Yeah, caught Nightbear sleeping. Something that I was gonna say about even the higher Grand Champ ranks is you'd be surprised how many people just allow you to shoot the ball like that. You can definitely catch people out. I feel like when the game gets like this faster pace and meckier gameplay, people tend to not really pay attention to their positioning, and they can easily get stuck in the what I call the RT syndrome or R2 syndrome, where they're constantly driving forward and not anticipating the play. So you can definitely catch people out with a well-placed shot, good power. Okay, let AJ go here. It's gonna be a tough save. Yeah, you just gotta be back a little earlier to help him out. You want two-layered defense and twos. You don't always want to be, relying on somebody to make a save. When you can definitely... Oh, that might be a goal as well. Kickoff goals happen. Even... Oh, fake. Wonder if AJ's calling that. Nice, you can take your time here. Missed the catch, unfortunately. And so Icy's statistics, for those of you that are wondering, I do ask that the players send over their current rank, their hours, and their goal for Rocket League. And Icy has said he is GC3 with 1,500 hours. Just because I was curious, I did check the tracker. I'm not sure if this is an alt account or whatever, but this account has only been 1,600, which would be GC2. So I was gonna say it's a little unrealistic to say you're a Grand Champ 3 player at 1,500 hours. That would be extremely impressive if you were. But at least back in the day, and I'd say even in today's Rocket League, people probably don't get Grand Champ until around 3K-ish hours. I have seen some players get it in like 2K, but at 1,500, it's a little. I mean, unless you're queuing with professional players like this all the time, then maybe yeah. But if you could clarify if this is like an alt or if this was just a GC3 game because you were playing in a GC3 game, that'd make a lot more sense. And the Icy's goal is SSL or SSL Game Sense, so we're gonna do our best to optimize that. It does look like he is in that mindset right now. Force. AJ is kind of just capitalizing off of the pressure that Icy's putting on the blue team. So we're going to do our best to optimize your gameplay around even a player like AJ. So touch away, play the bounce. Ooh, leaving the net open. That's kind of like the same thing as 1v1. You're kind of only playing one scenario there. A lot of spacing between you and AJ. AJ's having to cover up a lot. A lot of his boost is going towards playing defense and covering the ball for you. But, I mean, this is to be expected if you're playing at a rank that you are trying to learn or are fresh to. So we're going to go in and we're going to look at every single goal now. Look at the opportunities as well. See if we could take these opportunities better. So we have a double demo. I like that you go play Disruptor from behind. So here, I wish you wouldn't turn away, right? So you already created like a vacuum of all this pressure, right? So eventually the ball is going to spill because they're in a panic state on defense, right? You see both of them immediately spawn in. And, you know, one of them's rushing to the net, one of them's rushing to defend or to force AJ, right? So right here, you know that they're not going to have a ton of boost, especially because he's burning it very quickly. I wish you would slow down and not carry all this speed into this spot. And you end up turning away before he does anything. So now you're kind of in this spot where he looks like he's about to pop the ball and you feel like you don't want to turn for it. In this kind of spot in twos, it's kind of vital that you buy time, not only for AJ to recover because he landed in their net, right? But you also want AJ to get boost and get behind you. So a challenge here, a fake shot, like anything to, you know, kind of either get this guy to give the ball to AJ or you, or delay the play for AJ to get boost would be ideal. Because now if you look at this from AJ's point of view, he turns and you are in a okay spot right now. You can cut out a midfield pass, and you're also covering, you know, 50 with sauce, but it's just a lot harder to read because of how late it's happening for AJ. So you can see he has to take a second, and this kind of kills his momentum. So definitely in the future, try to do something a little earlier, and you could end up getting AJ a free ball earlier as well. And then here you kind of like are drifting a little bit. You want to be close enough to the play so that you can follow up. I do know there was a double bump there, so that's no biggie, but just keep that in mind for the future. And again, right here, we're kind of just like drifting. Right, you want to be in a spot where you can follow up this interaction right here. You could, if you had decent speed and momentum, you could be double jumping and contesting this, or even attempting a shot. And you can see your bad habit at the moment is you're slow driving and you're jumping from no momentum. So in this spot where, you know, 70 boost is definitely enough to get up. And I mean, it looks like there's a little bit of lag there when you jump. I'm not sure if you were lagging, but it's definitely an awkward touch for AJ. So in that spot, especially if you hesitate to go, I would recommend you don't. Something I feel like lower Grand Champs kind of struggle with is threat detection, right? Knowing what's threatening, what's something they should actually jump for, and what's something that they can play a little more patient and passive on. And that really depends on, gathering that information first, seeing what the players are doing and what they're capable of. This was much better. And I'm sure Sauce is probably, thinking, why are you going for that? But this is the type of challenge that I was talking about, right? This is exactly one of these times where it's the challenge that they don't expect, right? So even here, like, it seems like he has the advantage, but it's a pacing issue. So if he doesn't make his decision early enough, right? Which in my head, I would prefer that he play this at pace, right? Because as of right now, the backboard is free. So I would have, driven up the wall full speed and tried to scoop this to the backboard, like around here, and go off the ceiling and try to take a shot, right? Because then you'd get a one-on-one ISO with, most of the time AJ is probably going to have that covered, but you're still going to create a problem that's going to force AJ to do something. And even if he doesn't, you could 50 this, and then, he could leave it for Night Bear. Either or, he has a clean beat here that he does not utilize. For some reason, he ends up getting to the ball first, and then he slows down as if he's going to try to control it. So you did a very, very good job of just, speeding up and calling his bluff, and it ends up being a goal. Because I feel like Night Bear is also not expecting that type of play from Sauce. In this spot, it looks like a clean beat, right? So he continues to drive forward, not ready for the interaction, and then he's caught out. So well done by you. Let's take a look at our defensive situations here. So here's a little scary with the flip. I want to see how we kind of end up in that spot. So you end up getting demoed, you spawn in, you have to watch out for redirects. I mean, you don't really have to flip there, and you don't have to flip here. So the first flip is understandable, just because, in case he did have a shot. Here, I would recommend you don't flip and kind of just occupy the space, because you're in the right spot, right? I would love to see you just relax here. Either or is fine. But you're playing the space because AJ has the direct angle to net covered. So the only thing that Night Bear could really do is either play elevation, low 50, and pass it middle, right? Those are basically his only three options. So you would be covering what AJ cannot cover. And that's how you cover for each other on defense, for those of you guys in Grand Champ that are wondering. And the threat's not even there. Sauce is out of the play and in 0. And this is something that you could potentially have even cut for AJ. But I don't know. This is kind of gray area. But I would still prefer, if AJ goes and Night Bear ends up getting like a flick over the top, I would prefer that you're in a spot to where you can chill and where you can comfortably save that ball. Because if you were flipping and all your momentum's going into the net and, this flick ends up being lofty and into the top right or the top of the net, it's going to be a lot harder for you to save when you could just be chilling, facing your net, and then you act like you're the shooter essentially, and you are going to, save that ball over here in some sort of form. But yeah, try not to flip as much, especially on defense. I also want to see more penny work from you. There's a lot of times in these downtimes where you're missing a lot of the pennies, and again, you're flipping when you don't need to be. See, you could have been here for this touch as well. Could have just been collecting it. Just because they're both full boost and they're, again, in a panic state, they don't want to overcommit. Here you're kind of blindsiding yourself, so you need to information check. You have a very poor angle, first of all. For a ball like this, you would definitely have to wrap, and what I mean by a wrap, and it's hard because you only have like 25 boost, but I mean like wrap so you can play the actual angle, right? And then you can get the information of what's going on here, because by the time you take this very stiff angle and you turn, Night Bear's already there. He's got the boost and he's up. And now you're in a spot where you cannot chow for AJ. So if you were to look at something like this from AJ's point of view, for those of you that wonder why your teammates might be awkward or you bait a ball out and your teammate is not ready, you also have to think about what it looks like from their perspective. I would highly recommend any of you that are going back and watching your own replays trying to improve that you watch from your teammate's point of view as well. Because what makes a good teammate is you can leave the ball in a good spot for your teammate. You can make the game easier for your teammate, correct? So in this spot here, after AJ gets his boost, right, he might expect you to just pop that or challenge it or 50 it or something. So he's driving forward, right? But then he sees this is going to be a 1v1, right? And you're not jumping, you're out of position. So he has to play just a ones game, right? He has to play this like a ones game. So this is not ideal for either of you. So in this spot, if you're awkward, maybe you don't even have to go for this, right? You can let them. Something that is important to me, because I see this thing happen all the time in lower Grand Champ ranks, is you allow the players to get what I call a rat touch. And it's just because it's typically like this. You would be ratting underneath the ball. And it's like a pointless, I have to touch it to touch it. There's no, it's like, we messed up, we have to touch it. That's the reason why I call it a rat touch. But these can be very punishable if you're in the right spot, right? Neither of these players have boost, so if you're over here, it's a free shot all day. And the other thing that I think about in terms of efficiency is to not allow players to get this type of touch, right? In an ideal world, you're going to let, after you made a mistake, right? You make this very, very like difficult pop right in front of your net for AJ. If you were to treat that as, oh no, I just left AJ in a really rough spot and this guy's about to bump him, you wouldn't have left for boost, and you would immediately try to recover, grab whatever penny you can, and you're playing to support AJ's touch, right? This is something that is a competitive, like actual competitive concept that I feel like ranked players definitely don't think about, and that's making sure the play is safe before you leave for boost, before you leave the play, right? So like right here, you wouldn't really need anything. You would just need this penny or this penny. And now look, both these players are overcommitted, and you have just a free shot that a platinum player could shoot, right? Instead, we end up in here, and then we end up getting scored on, right? So that's something to think about going forward as well. If you want to really optimize your scoring efficiency, is to preemptively think about how that type of play is going to develop, especially after you make a touch, right? Think about how that's going to end up for your teammate. How's it going to end up for the opponents? That is something that's going to get you SSL level game sense very quickly. Yeah, I mean, that's rough. The kickoff is a little poor from you. You end up hitting it just completely to the side when you... I would prefer that you get into the middle of the ball. You can see how this interaction actually ends up happening, right? So you end up hitting it first, you hit it into Sauce, and because Sauce is kind of more central, you know, he's pushing through the ball. Meanwhile, you're kind of just like pushing the ball into him, so it's going to spill out that way all the time. And you can see that it makes it very, very awkward for AJ. He's not expecting that type of kickoff. Pros will always cheat up like this because they usually expect like a neutral kickoff to spill either right or left, maybe even up, that they can shoot. But these pinch kickoffs are definitely a sign of lower ranks. He tries his best to get a 50, and the Sauce is just there. So, unfortunate. Looks like we get a fake opportunity. Not sure which one of you guys called it. We get a save. It looks like we have to make another save here. So this is something where it's like, I want you to think about what you're seeing in the moment. So in this spot, you count all 3 players on your screen. Right there, you should think to yourself, time. Like, that's the first thing that you should pop into your head. You have time to catch this, to settle it, take it to the wall, make sure you get boost. Like, any controlled touch would be perfect here because now you have them on the counter attack. You have a player behind you chasing, right? Which if you play this play fast enough, he's not going to catch you. So what's going to happen is he's going to continue to chase you if you just catch this ball right here. Right, and it's just a nice touch out here to yourself. You're not only lining yourself up for a shot or a dribble play forward, you'd also be lining yourself up for a pass to AJ if he does get that mid boost. Right, so you want to capitalize on this 2v1 scenario in this current point in time. So the beginning step to that, to structure that, would be, you know, making sure you get the good first touch and the good catch. You could also play that to the boost here. You could play it to this mid boost. I would prefer you just take it on a dribble just because AJ could threaten a bump on Nightbear as he goes back if you see how this play develops. He does see you like struggling with the catch, so he decides to come back instead of playing up. And now Sauce is just going to stay on it because he knows you're awkward. Never mind, Sauce just leaves and lets Nightbear filter in, but either way. You can see now you've kind of like missed your catch and like, oh no, now I feel like I have to hit it away, which you don't. In this current point in time, right about here after you miss your catch, neither of the players are close enough to you to challenge, so you could still take your time. Just, you know, come down off the wall and line up a nice touch. And then you could also flick that to AJ, you know, when he's ready. These are the type of plays out of defense that get you scored on right here. Because if a player like Nightbear is over here, he could definitely have a hard shot. AJ still needs to get boost. He could pass this middle. You know, it's kind of like what we call a scramble on defense, right? AJ has to scramble and make a decision quickly because he has to cover. Right here's a lot better. You play a touch, you know, kind of into contested space, but it's still in a spot where AJ can try to follow it. So it was a decent ball. Again, in terms of how this play is developing, right? You're in the right spot, but now you're not reacting. This could be an easy beat for you if you're just, you know, coming across with momentum and you touch that into, you know, towards the mid boost. Definitely catch them out on a counter. Now you've allowed them to get your corner boost, and like I've said this in the last 2 videos, what's the first thing someone's going to do when they get your corner boost? They can turn right back around. And there's the touch to apply pressure. This is a beautiful relief of pressure from AJ. So if you pay attention to what he does here, right, immediately gets back boost, has momentum, you know, punishes a player for not making a decision quick enough. He's there as soon as you got the ball off of him, right? Look at the timing. There's this much space between you guys right now. But as soon as Nightbear is done outplaying you and turning around to make a decision, AJ's already in his face. Right? It's that split decision making. Now, after this 50, he sees... So I'm not sure if he sees Sauce turn away. Yeah, okay. You can see Sauce not in a spot, but now he might be worried because he loses information. Right here, Sauce goes off the screen. So the best thing to do, and he sees you over there, would be to switch. This is a concept that I wish 2 players would use a lot more in the lower ranks, because when 2 players are kind of occupying the same space, the best thing to do, and this also relieves pressure, it also opens up space, you know, for you if you want to turn up and be aggressive, if you're grabbing this boost. This is something we do in 3v3 a lot in competitive, but you switch. Right, so now once the ball is switched into open space, it shifts the opposition, right? So Sauce has to come over to cover it. And now you could be first to this. AJ can be first to this, and Nightbear has to kind of respect that. Right, so it's almost like a reset button. AJ attempts a double tap. Close. Here we're just a little too close. So something I think is your bad habit right now. You obviously flip too much and you're drifting in the play. You don't pick up pennies passively, and you're not thinking about how the play is going to develop. It looks like you're ball watching a lot right here. So once this happens, you're kind of just caught out because you're still driving forward. That is the sign to me that you're not. Because right here, you have to expect some type of 50. You see 3 players in the corner here. You have to play this a little safer than, especially because you're the last man. Right? The worst case scenario is this ends up going in your net. You have to think about it like that. What's the worst case scenario here? It goes into my net. And it unfortunately does, so. That's something that AJ, let's see if AJ was trying to pass it back to you. Because in this type of disruptive spot, you're most likely, yeah, I mean, it's just unlucky. The ball gets played right onto him and as he's wall dashing for a demo, it looks like. Or he was potentially trying to use the wall dash to, you know, get in front of Sauce and pass it down to you, but it's because you're not in the right spot. It would have been fine if you were, you know, a little further back expecting that. All good, though. It's not like you guys are hard coming to each other. Or maybe you were. That would be something funny. Like this, you also don't need to force this. Your teammate just got Spanished, so you want to buy your teammate time. You don't want to rush this. If this ball pinches poorly because of your forced 50 here in the wall, which is like, what are you trying to gain from this challenge? Right? Something you need to ask yourself. What are you trying to accomplish in the play right now? Because right now your priority should be to buy time for AJ to spawn and get boost and get back into the play. If you end up, if he lets you just hit this and you hit it off the back wall, you're going to throw yourself out of the play, and then you're going to leave AJ in a 2v1 as he's spawning. Right? So you definitely don't want to be doing that. Fortunately, he spills out. AJ goes immediately to close the space. He's getting dunked. See where you're at during this point in time. So again, we're missing pennies. Definitely work on your pad work. That'll help you keep relevant. 2-3 pennies is like the best. Could try playing the bounce. Very nice save. Grab the boost. That's fine. See now, like in this spot, it's fine if he cuts you off. It's just a pacing issue for high level players, right? Especially when you get a clear like this, you want to speed this play up. When you get both players, to commit to something, you want to speed it up so that you don't give them time to get boost. You don't give them time to get set. Like, look, Sauce is still grabbing boost in this point in time. They do put in 2 good challenges. It forces AJ to flick. And they work together to make that space a lot smaller for AJ. But here, if you realize AJ is going to take it, then go be an option. So first of all, get out from underneath the play and go out this way, right? Get a wide angle. Be an option. Play the space for AJ, right? Or, if you see this happening, you can go bump him. And then, if you successfully bump him out and AJ gets past, then you can go bump Sauce. Like there's a nice little pro tip that I want to give the lower ranks, and that's think about the game like a point system, right? Every single play that you make, or if you're watching your own replays back, reward yourself points. If you beat a player, it's 1 point. Successful mech, hitting a successful mech, 1 point. Like, think about the value of what you're trying to get out of a play, and if it's not like consistently over 3, then maybe you could say it's not a decent play, right? Consistently, I think 3 points in a play is a good piece of value. If you beat one player, then you get a nice touch, and then you score on the other player, like that would be 3 points, right? If you get a demo, if you get another bump, and then you're in the pass, you're in a good spot to receive a pass, or you hit a pass play with your teammate. Those could all be things that give you a good amount of points, right? Though here you're in a much better spot, right? But it's just a little too late, because now, again, you got to think there's an interaction about to happen. You want to prep for that interaction. And right here, especially when your teammate has the ball on top of his car, it's dangerous. If that challenge is a lot harder and it pinched, definitely could have been near the goal. Good job to stay in the play there. Very well done. Good 50. See, like this could be considered 3 points right here, right? Out of position. Okay, that's fine. Don't play it back. We want to maintain the pressure. So that's 1 point. Nice first light touch, 2 points, right? And then you force a pinch 50 off of this guy, and you set your teammate up for a shot, 3 points. And now look, you're even in a spot to where you can almost score that again, and you get a goal from it. Typically, plays that have 3 points like that result in goals, at least in my head. But yeah, let's finish out the rest of the game here. Let's just take a look at how it ends. Little risky challenge in the corner. 4 ends up spelling for you guys like this. So if you got to think about what the opponent is seeing in these positions. Put yourself in their shoes, right? He's on the back foot in a 2v1. He's obviously going to try to maintain speed. He's obviously going to try to play the ball and get the boost. So he has to make the play here. You do not need to rush that. You do not need to force it. You should be waiting for this touch right here, right? Force him, have a presence to force that touch out, and then you could be right here making the play, which AJ already knows this. So AJ goes and tries to bump the only person who can save that ball, right? Because if you're right here and you roll a shot in and AJ gets the bump, it's a goal. But instead, now it's almost a goal for them, right? These are the spots in twos where it's like you don't want it to be reverse Uno. You want to be in the spot to punish a spilled touch like that. But good try. And the last thing that I want you to fix. So as of right now, we discussed you flip too much. We want you to have more presence in the play. So definitely work on your pads work. Work on your anticipation of the play and make sure you're watching the other players. But I also want to see you pick your momentum up around the field. Your momentum around this field, and I'm sure if we check the ball chasing, and you can check that on the ball chasing link, they have like all the charts and stuff. I would like you to check your like speed around the field, your how long you're spending supersonic, how much boost you're using, because it seems like majority of the game I see you just kind of like slow driving are on the field. Meanwhile, all the other players are, in a good way you can look at this as well, is if you pick a random point in the game, where the ball's kind of going at speed, most of the time the other players are moving at a certain pace and you're kind of just like in these spots, right? This is a good way you can look at it. Right, everybody's making the decisions. Everybody's moving like one cohesive unit. Meanwhile, we're just flipping all around the field. Which is fine. I mean, you're in a lot higher level lobby than you're probably used to. So you're probably a little uncomfortable of, finding where you should be. But yeah, that's going to do it. Alrighty guys, that's going to do it for today's video. If you guys found this content enjoyable or helpful, please leave a like, share, and subscribe. Make sure you guys check that noti bell and join the Discord to stay up to date with when I post or go live. I appreciate you all tons. Much love as always, and I'll see you in the next one or on stream. Peace.